This incident of attacking and abducting an estimated 7 people by Boko Haram terrorists occurred along one of the most dangerous roads in Nigeria's northeast. A serving councillor, a respected Islamic cleric, abducted by terrorists, then within hours rescued alive by Nigerian troops. But even as relief spreads, 5 other Nigerians are still missing, still in captivity, still waiting. Now let us look at this clearly. This is not just another rescue story. This is a developing national issue that sits at the intersection of insecurity, governance, faith, and the daily fear ordinary Nigerians live with, especially in Borno State. According to reports, troops of the Nigerian Army under Operation Hadin Kai carried out a swift search and rescue mission along the volatile Buni Gari Buratai road. This axis has long been notorious for insurgent ambushes, kidnappings, and sudden attacks. On Tuesday evening, around 5 p.m., 7 civilians were kidnapped while traveling that route. By early Wednesday morning, at about 7:35 a.m., the military moved in. If you are watching, please like this video and subscribe. And if you value calm, balanced analysis, kindly subscribe. From this point, we need to understand exactly what happened. Security analyst Zagazola Makama revealed that the operation involved troops from the 27 Task Force Brigade working alongside the 135 Special Forces Battalion and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force CJTF. This detail matters because it shows coordination, conventional military units working hand in hand with local civilian defenders who know the terrain, the paths, the villages, and the tactics of insurgents. By 11:35 a.m., sustained troop movement and pressure forced the terrorists to abandon 2 of their captives near Mangari village. The message here is simple but significant. Pressure works. Presence matters. Speed can mean the difference between life and death. The rescued victims were identified as Alhaji Mohammed Ali Maikachi, a serving councillor representing Zera Wiyep Ward in Biu local government area, and Mallam Aliyu Yusuf, a respected Islamic scholar and chairman of Shuaraul Islam in Borno State. Think about that for a moment. One is an elected political representative at the grassroots level. The other is a religious leader, a moral voice in his community. Their abduction sends fear through both political and religious spaces. Their rescue sends a different kind of message, but not a complete one, because 5 others are still missing. Another perspective to this issue is what the victims themselves said after their rescue. Councillor Maikachi, visibly shaken but grateful, attributed his freedom to divine intervention and the swift response of the Nigerian Army. He spoke openly about how troops confronted the terrorists, withdrew to reorganize, then returned to rescue them. That detail matters. It shows planning, not panic. It shows restraint, not recklessness. Mallam Aliyu Yusuf, the cleric, also commended the military, describing the intervention as timely and courageous, words that carry weight coming from someone who has likely seen and counseled victims of violence for years. But even in this moment of relief, the story does not end well yet, because as troops pursued the fleeing terrorists for about 5.4 kilometers, no contact was made. The insurgents melted into the terrain, a familiar pattern in this conflict. And from the testimonies of the rescued victims, we now know that 5 other civilians remained in captivity. Among them are reportedly the past and current vice chairman of Biu local government area, as well as 3 women. Now let us pause here. This is where the legal, political, and social questions begin to emerge. When elected officials at the local government level can be abducted on public roads, what does that say about grassroots governance and security coverage? Local government officials are not distant elites. They live among the people. Their vulnerability reflects the vulnerability of the communities they serve. Legally, the state has a constitutional obligation to protect lives and property. Every successful rescue affirms that duty. Every unresolved abduction questions it. And so, while we acknowledge the professionalism and speed of this operation, we must also confront the larger reality. This road remains dangerous. This region remains fragile. There is also a political sensitivity here. Two of the remaining captives are said to be current and former vice chairmen of a local government. That raises concerns about targeted abductions, intelligence leaks, or the symbolic value insurgents place on capturing authority figures. Is this random, or is it strategic? My viewers, what do you think? Do you believe these kidnappings are opportunistic, or are they calculated messages to the state? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Please like the video and subscribe. Now let us widen the lens to the national context. Borno State has carried the heaviest burden of Nigeria's insurgency for over a decade. Entire communities have been displaced. Roads that should connect farmers to markets and families to hospitals have become corridors of fear. Even as military operations have degraded insurgent capacity, security still flares unpredictably. This story touches several national nerves at once. First, insecurity. Nigerians are tired. From Zamfara to Kaduna, from Plateau to Borno, abductions have become a cruel routine. Each rescue offers hope. Each unresolved case deepens anxiety. Second, political tension. When public office holders are abducted, it reinforces the perception that no one is truly safe, not even those within the system. Third, economic hardship. Roads like Buni Gari, Buratai are essential for trade and movement. When they are unsafe, economic life slows, prices rise, poverty deepens, desperation grows. Fourth, youth frustration. Many of the foot soldiers of terror groups are young men who see no future. This does not excuse their actions, but it complicates the solution. And finally, historical trauma. Borno has seen waves of violence that stretch back years. Each new incident reopens old wounds. From this point, we need to understand the human angle. For the families of Maikachi and Mallam Yusuf, this rescue is nothing short of a miracle. Sleepless nights, endless prayers, the fear of never seeing a loved one again. All of that suddenly replaced with relief and gratitude. But for the families of the 5 still held, the nightmare continues. Imagine knowing that others were rescued, but your own loved one remains missing. Hope and fear collide in painful ways. Every phone call brings anxiety. Every rumor feels heavy. Supporters of the military see this operation as proof that the army is capable, responsive, and determined. Critics, however, ask a harder question. Why was the road unsafe in the first place? Both perspectives deserve to be heard. Now, let us consider the government's likely perspective. From an official standpoint, this operation will be presented as evidence of improved intelligence, rapid response, and effective collaboration between the army and local security groups like the CJTF. The fact that the rescue happened within hours will be emphasized, and rightly so. The government may also argue that insurgency is asymmetric warfare. Terrorists exploit terrain, civilian movement, and surprise. Complete prevention, they will say, is difficult. What matters is response capability. There is also a national security framing here. Publicizing successful rescues boosts morale, reassures citizens, and sends a message to insurgents that they are being hunted. But there is a delicate balance. Over-celebration can appear insensitive when others remain captive. Silence, on the other hand, breeds mistrust. Another question for you, my viewers. Should the government communicate more openly about ongoing rescue efforts, or does that risk compromising operations? Let me know in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe. The next is, what are the future implications? First, intensified military operations. Troops are already tracking the fleeing terrorists. We can expect continued patrols, possible air surveillance, and increased presence along that axis. Second, political pressure. With local government officials among the captives, there will be quiet but firm pressure from political actors for results. Third, community vigilance. Incidents like this often lead to temporary behavioral changes, reduced travel, altered routes, heightened suspicion. Fourth, national conversation. Each rescue reignites debate about security strategy, funding, intelligence, and the role of local actors like the CJTF. Internationally, such stories also shape perceptions of Nigeria's stability, which can affect investment, humanitarian engagement, and diplomatic narratives. As we reflect on this story, one truth stands out. This rescue is a victory, but it is not the end of the battle. It shows what is possible when a response is swift and coordinated. It also reminds us of how fragile safety remains for millions of Nigerians who travel these roads every day, not knowing what awaits them. My viewers, if you are following this breakdown, please like the video and subscribe. Do you believe Nigeria is winning the fight against insurgency or merely managing it? What more should be done to protect ordinary people on dangerous highways? And how do we balance praise for success with accountability for persistent failures? Share your thoughts. Let us keep this conversation honest, calm, and grounded in facts.